So one of the more boring things about playing guitar, if you want to get better quickly, is doing exercises. And I know some people really hate exercises and they just want to work on licks or whatever, but I think if you want to progress, the absolute quickest way is good to do a mix of both. But exercises can be really boring, so there's certain things that I like to do to make it a bit less boring. And one of the things is to decide on a particular sequence. Can be a scale sequence, can be the thing that I'm going to show you today, or whatever it might be. That's a bit longer, and then I challenge myself to get through it without making any mistakes. And this becomes, a bit of a game almost, where the stakes are a bit higher. Instead of just sitting there playing an exercise and you make a mistake and you're like, whatever, and you keep going, which in itself is not that great, because that means you're probably practicing at a too quick of a tempo. Especially for any type of repetitive work, you really want to make sure that each rep is as good as possible. I like to compare this to learning a golf swing. So if you're working on a golf swing, you want to make every swing to be as perfect as possible. And that's what I do on guitar as well. So 80 to 90% of my practice time is going to be slow and very steady work where everything is perfect, and then I can try to push the tempo a little bit with different rhythmic variations or speed bursts or similar things. And I'm going to link to a playlist here where you have a bunch of different practice techniques you can apply to get a bit faster as well. But I think a lot of people are a bit too quick on getting to the fast part, and they totally neglect the slow work that's needed to get a well-rounded technique. But to make the slow work more interesting then, so you don't lose focus, is to set up some sort of little challenge. And I got this idea from Steve Vai, where he would say that he would pick an exercise and just do it all over the fretboard, and if he made a mistake, he would start over again. Now it's up to you if you want to be that hardcore about it, but I think if you make a mistake, that kind of tells you something. It tells you that you're probably practicing a bit too fast for this to be effective. So it's definitely worth trying restarting the thing again if you make a mistake, because then you'll kick yourself a little bit and probably realize that if I just do this a bit slower, I will actually save time because I will get through it quicker instead of having to restart at that slightly higher tempo. So as the title states, it's also about developing your synchronization. So I don't do clickbait, so I'm gonna share a really good exercise for your overall synchronization here. We're gonna be using all 4 fingers of the left hand, and we're gonna be doing alternate picking on a single string. But again, the trick here is to get through all 6 strings without making a mistake. And then once you've done that, we're going to do the whole thing again, starting on an upstroke. So I'm just going to show it on 1 string, and then you can do it on all the others after that. The concept of the exercise then is to take 3 fingers at a time, which we will have 4 different groups. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to demonstrate this at the 5th fret. The tabs which are available on my Patreon is going to be written out in the 1st position, because then the fingers will correlate with the frets as well. So within these finger groups, we're going to do this pattern. So basically a 4-note loop: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you have a 4-note loop, you can start in 4 different places. So this is our first loop, which we're going to call 1. Second loop starts here. Third loop starts here. And the 4th loop starts here again, but now we're going to descend at first. So that's the 4 fingerings and the 4 starting points of our loop. And then the whole challenge here then is to connect all these without stopping. And not only do it on 1 string, you want to do it on all 6 strings. But I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So we're just going to do each loop in order, and we're going to start with loop number 1, do that twice, and then go to the next fingering. So not the next loop, we're going to go to the next fingering, which is 1, 2, 4. Then we're going to go to 1, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4. Then we can start on the second finger, which is our second loop, and then second finger of 1, 2, 4. Second finger of 1, 3, 4, so we change finger here, and then second finger of 2, 3, 4. Then, as you probably guessed, we're going to start on the 3rd loop, just cycling through the fingerings, And then finally we're going to start on the fourth loop, which is the second finger again. And from here we're going to restart on the next string and do the whole thing again. Alright, so I'm going to play through the entire thing now on one string and call out the loops as well so you can follow along. And when I say second loop or second finger here, that's just the second finger of that combination. So the second finger of 1, 3, 4 would actually be the third finger technically, just so you don't get confused here. But again, that's why you have the tabs. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on. And then you do that on the A string, D string, G string, B string, and the high E string. Then you can restart the whole thing, and it's up to you. I usually do it from the high E string and go back, but since it's not really a string crossing exercise, you can restart here on the low E string if you want. But now you want to do the same thing, just starting with an upstroke. So and so on. What's so good about this though is that you cover all the possible ways of doing this roll basically, and that, you know, pops up a lot in different scale runs. So having that sort of ready to go is a very, very good thing for your overall picking technique. So give this a try. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Back in the day, I used to have real issues with fast alternate picking when it came to 2 notes per string. I was fine with 3 notes per string, but the 2 notes per string thing was a bit harder to crack. So if you struggle with fast alternate picking as well, and you don't know what to practice or for how long, I've created the perfect solution for you in the form of the Pentatonic Picking Power Book. So in this book, you'll find a daily workout that will not only help your pentatonic picking, but will also upgrade your overall alternate picking technique. So it contains basically the same exercises I use myself to develop my picking abilities, as well as numerous students over the years that I've given the same exercise to with great results. So I know these exercises work as long as you put in the work. So it's not a quick solution or quick fix. It will still take a lot of work, but at least you have a very easy to follow routine. So if you're up for a big alternate picking upgrade in 2024, I cannot think of a better start. It's $9 and I think it's very underpriced, but I did it that way just so as many people as possible could be helped by this. So check that out.